Each year, Olivet Nazarene University sends teams of students, staff, and faculty around the world. We seek through the Shalom Project ministry trips to inspire, empower, and equip our community in the creative act of restoring broken relationships with God, ourselves, others, and creation. As humble servants of Christ, we partner with God to restore what is broken.
We partnered with Footsteps Ministries, which is a global ministry, but specifically in Honduras, they had a section there where they had after-school programs and just helped out. It was kind of like an economic orphanage that we worked with.
We partnered with Go Ministries down there. They've been around for roughly around 35 years. And so a lot of their startups exist doing sports ministries and doing medical clinics, as well as getting ready to start a church planting network.
We partnered with La Finca Church, and they are a praying church that actually started in 2001.
So Appalachia Reach Out is who we partnered with, and they help people in the community, basically just in any way that they can find. So whenever somebody needs help, they can reach out, and then Appalachia Reach Out will go and have their serve teams come in, and then they'll help out.
So we went with One Collective. Their ministry has a lot to do with empowering the locals there. So a lot of their staff is made up of Nicaraguans who they've met.
Through this trip, God continually showed me what community looks like. So whether it be working with one of the local pastors in the community, or just simply watching how different neighbors would interact with each other, God continually showed me what generous love looks like, what happiness looks like, and what it looks like just to continually love and be intentional with every interaction you have with human beings throughout the trip.
I think one of the biggest things God showed me was the amount of trust that they have there in Him. And I think just going over there, we went on a couple of different home visits where we got to eat dinner with some of the Nicaraguans on staff and just get to hear their stories. And it was just really encouraging to me to hear the way that they trust God fully through everything in their life.
I would say God showed me really just the heart that people have behind the work that they're doing in Appalachia.
It is our desire to become learners, listeners, encouragers, and participants in bringing the hope and love of Jesus Christ, not just on a trip, but that it would challenge us to be missional every day of our lives, wherever that may be.
So after coming back from Costa Rica, I just want to live a more intentional life, whether that be with prayer, with friends, and just setting away my phone and really being present in the moment.
This trip inspired me to do more with missions and just to do more in my community in general, just because I realize the love that I have behind helping people and the love that I have kind of to give the abilities that I have to somebody else, and just be able to give them all that I have instead of kind of keeping it for myself.
I think that focusing on the little things is really important. In Honduras, people were just walking around. They were always having conversations with people they knew. It seemed like they almost knew everyone they ran into. The colors in Honduras were beautiful. All the houses were bright, and so coming back to the States, it seemed like I was noticing the colors all around me. Spring is coming, which is super exciting, seeing all the flowers and trees bloom. And I just think that it's really important that we take into account all the things that we have here. It's just those things that we take for granted that I think are really important.
From this trip, I really want to make it a goal of mine just to be more intentional. I hope in my life, whether it be a small or mundane task, I hope to be intentional with the people I work with and be intentional with my conversations and showing love or having laughter or being able to have hard conversations.
I had a really big perspective shift while I was over there of just putting God in a bigger place in my life, just throughout my daily life, through my interactions with other people. I saw a lot of times with them, they talk about Him all the time, and they talk about the way that He has impacted their life and the way that they just trust Him so much and love Him so much and are just so thankful for the way that He's blessed them in just such small ways. And like thinking about my life, the ways that He's blessed me is just insane.
Something that surprised me on this trip was the heart that people at Celebrate Recovery have for God and just their passion behind how much they love Jesus. And so to see someone experiencing that kind of lit that passion for me, for God, a little bit.
While we were in Costa Rica, we had just an insane amount of nurturing love from our community, and even though we were going to serve them, they had so many other ways that they served us.
Even after going to Honduras for a second time, I still had new experiences. I saw it in a whole different light, which was really cool, but God still worked the same, which I think is a beautiful testimony to who He is and who He can be for me.
Sharing the love of Jesus with others is not just something that we do at a destination. In reality, it should be the way that we live our everyday lives. We are called to live as missional people and to share the shalom of God to all we come in contact with.